So, what is happening? Today was an interesting day. Because I feel like yet again, another path point has presented itself. Another pivot point, another choice. Actually, two. Kind of 1.5. Because the half one already plays on this same path point. It would just extend a certain phase longer. And so that's why it's a half. But the other one is just like a full branch. And it's so funny because I was at work thinking about how, hey, Lisa, I have no clue what the topic is tonight. Tonight's one of those nights where I pick a deck and we just see what comes out. But I've noticed it was like how much, in an almost synchronistic way. It's like, and I've talked about it before because it happened recently, where it's like I'll pull out one too many plates, and instead of throwing the plate away, I decide to like keep it for whatever reason. And then I go outside and I drop a lid. So, now I have a lid from one of the plates I was going to throw away. I can use that lid. Or it's like there's something that I start doing at some point that like I barely have time to do whatever, but I start it and then boom, like it's there and I need it today. And it's like, like at least we have this. And so I was upstairs. Thankfully, I was able to be at my computer today for a hot minute, which I liked. And I walked out the door. I printed something and I went down to get it. And it was like right time, right place. It just popped into my mind how it's like there have been at least a few things lately that's right time, right place. And so then, however long later, I go to the restroom, right? And I chose to take a scenic route to another bathroom today. And I come out of the bathroom and I see my boss and one of my coworkers and like, "Oh, are you going to the meeting?" And I was like, I didn't know there was a meeting. I wasn't planning on going to the meeting, but I ended up going to the meeting. And now it's like that whole new path has made itself available. And that was definitely not expected, not completely unwelcomed. Honestly, not really unwelcomed at all. But I had literally, I didn't remember until I was like setting up my camera and stuff for this. It literally popped into my head, right time, right place. And like I came out of the bathroom at the exact moment they were walking by. So does that mean I take it? But if I take it, then it's like, well, what's the point of all the other stuff that's been happening lately and recently? That's when some things become about choice. It's always about choice. There are some times when it's about choice. Also, I saw Eve's live this morning for a hot second. I only saw like 3 out of the cards in the Stranger Things deck, but it wasn't what I feared it might be, so I went ahead and ordered it. So, yeah. And this past, week? 2 weeks? It's interesting because there was a lot of stuff happening at the same time. And I think I talked about this. There was a lot of stuff happening at the same time. And from like so many different angles, like perspective angles. And then it almost sort of boiled down to like finding out what it is that I really want. And yeah, so Anyway. Like, I feel like I just had a whole like pivot or whatever. I didn't expect another one so soon. Oh, I love that you say this season. I love that you say the season because I was talking to my journey buddy yesterday or the day before, and she used the word like the next season, the next episode. That's a phrase that she used. So thank you for the confirming synchronicity. But if I think of it as a season, then it makes the answer a little bit more um, obvious. I want to say apparent. I want to say. I don't know what deck I'm going to use. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do I even have any cards over here? 5. I have a few. I'm going to have Bixby. Choose a random number because I can't decide. But yeah. So what? Like Mercury is about to retrograde. We're about to have the full moon. Is that it? Like, hold up. Is something happening on the 16th? Is that a thing? That's next Friday. No, their birthday's on the 15th, I'm pretty sure. Or is it the 16th? I don't know. Anyway, I'll ask Siri because I don't know where my phone is. Hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 5.
A random number between 1 and 5 is 5.
It's 5. So I have the Tarot of the Abyss, the Legends, the Crow Tarot, and these cards that I was going to use, but I don't want to. When I got these cards from the store, the guy was like, oh, like they're a little whatever. And I was just like, okay. But then after using them, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, they are a little whatever. Let's see. These are numbered probably from 1 to 52. Right. So I'm going to have Siri, I'm going to shuffle these. I'm going to have Siri choose a number between 1 and 52, and then I'll reduce it. And I'm going to pull before and after that number, and we'll just see what's up. And like, I don't even know who got you thinking in terms of seasons. Oh, something's going on in the air. Because I feel like I don't know. If I had to I don't know if something's changed though. And I look at it's not the 16th when it's coming up in the energy. Yeah, because that'll be what around the 20 something as we head into Libra season. Okay. Hey Siri. Choose a number between 1 and 52.
A random number between 1 and 52 is 36.
36. So we're going to go for a 369. Why not? I should have known. I'm going to pull off the top. So the first card is number 4, the key, 4 of clubs. 4 of clubs, 4 of wands, the key. Augury? What does that mean? The key nearby is a certain augury of success, but if surrounded by unlucky cards, the prognostication is illness. And then number 9. Oh, so here we are. The birds. Dire misfortune and fierce enemies when near. If far away from the person with 7, 16, 12, or 22 between, a chance to avert the evil spell. Ace of diamonds. And then the 7 of diamonds, number 38. Flames on the hearth indicate good fortune and neutralizes the evil of near-lying unlucky cards and increases the value of lucky ones. Love that. So, Neptune reaches opposition on September 16th. Maybe that's it. Like maybe a game comes out. I don't know. Neptune opposing the sun. Excuse me. I love the fire because this neutralizes these birds. Dire misfortune, fierce enemies, neutralized by the power of 11. 11 neutralizes the 9. 11 is like both feet in a new cycle. 9 is the boundary, the wall of the bubble of the old. Love that. Well, there's our 9. The 9 was at the top of the deck. Still got to find 36. And then there's a joker. After that, I'm going to keep that wild card. Oh, wait. I'm looking for number 36. Oh, that's it right there. Okay. So these are pretty close to the top, meaning that we don't have to dig too deep. So it's coming out with number 25, the 7 of spades. Clouds with the dark side toward the person indicates divorce. The bright side toward the person ensures domestic happiness. Our signifier, number 36, is on the bright side of the clouds. The dark side of the clouds is nothing because that's the first card. Technically, it's this tree, I guess. But the tree is outside. On the other side, so number 36 is the 8 of hearts. The cat indicates flattery. If near number 6 foretells personal injury, near 29 and 30 it denotes strife. It's not by 6, 29, or 30. But I feel like the cats came out recently. And then on the other side is number 42, the Queen of Spades. Amor is a sign that someone is looking at you with great love and longing. So here we have great love and longing in this Queen of Swords with Eros and this bleeding heart. I was listening to Russ's Eve's birthday celebration bonanza extravaganza earlier. It comes into opposition on the 26th. Okay. I thought it was something along those lines. The augury. I don't even know where I would have seen that. The bottom of the deck is the 4 of hearts. Ooh, fish. The fish is the emblem of riches through stocks, but if distant and foretells failure and disaster. Fish and the King of Spades. The bride ensures for a single person the fulfillment of their highest aims when near, if distant, turbulent married life. So we got the fish with the King of Swords, and the Queen of Swords was the last card. Next to the cats. So I think the fish and the cats are gonna get together. But anyway, what was I talking about? 7, 8, 9. No, 6, 7, 9, 8, 9. number 17, number 47. And then we have number 38, 11, 9, and 4. What was I talking about? I lost my train of thought right there. Oh, I was listening to Russ's Eve's birthday live because I was working on the computer today. So I got to. And he talked about when Eros or Cupid shot Hades with the arrow to get Venus to fall in love with him so that she could do whatever. What came to my mind is that, like, it's almost like true love will always find a way. Like, no measure of trickery or deceit or interference is going to prevent or circumvent what is meant to be. Right? That's why it still didn't work out for her, because it wasn't meant to be. And that's what makes me, it's because it's arrows, right? And the heart. Vesta, where's Vesta? Because Vesta is the goddess of the hearth. Let's see, what's up with Vesta? Oops. What? Oh. That's too much. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, cheat sheet. Love this. So right now, Vesta's in Aquarius, 25 degrees retrograding. So it should be pretty close to Saturn. Well, Saturn is 20 degrees retrograding, so it's in a 9-degree orb. So it's also what, sextiling Eris and Aries at 2450. And also, no, that's Pisces. Okay. Seven of Swords, Eight of Cups. Seven of Swords, Eight of Cups, Queen of Swords. What's interesting about this is there's this energy of misfortune that is like juxtaposed to, like, right next to an energy of fortune, of great fortune. One second. Everything is making noise now. So there's this energy of misfortune that's like juxtaposed right next to, bordering an energy of fortune. Right? Now, with the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Cups, because it's the Seven of Spades and the Eight of Hearts, it's interesting because it's like that's almost what seems like it defines this great misfortune, or what did it say? Some dire or whatever. A dire misfortune and fierce enemies and stuff like that. But it's like the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Cups. Whatever is taken, whatever leaves, it was meant to go. Like, it's the Seven of Swords immediately followed by Eight of Cups energy. It's like it was time to go anyway. And so this might be a test of attachment, some kind of attachment. And again, that plays to the 9 versus the 11. Now, there is no 10 here. And the fact that there's not a 10 here, it just feels like that means that the transition isn't necessarily going to be. It almost feels like the transition might be a little non-existent, as in like it reads a little all or nothing. It's like you can't dip a toe in it. Either you're gonna like jump into it or you're not, because it's an 11, right? That's like both feet in the new cycle. If it was a 10, it's like a foot on both sides. And then the Queen of Swords is here. But the Queen of Swords, Queen of Spades, it's a sign that someone is looking at you with great love and longing. Oh, okay. They're looking at you with great love and longing. But what are you doing? What are we doing? What are we looking at? Well, the King of Swords is looking at the fish, right? They're both looking in whatever direction the fish is looking in. And the cat is going to look at the fish. I also like that this is like, so this 7 of Spades, 8 of Cups, like again, it's coming this way. So this 8 of Cups energy is in the light of the clouds. There's nothing in the dark. So again, it's like, it's almost very like, if it leaves, it's meant to. If it leaves, if it's taken, and you were already feeling a need for some kind of separation or relocation, it's almost like let it go. It doesn't matter if you do it or if it gets done in some other way. I don't know if it'll necessarily be easy though, because of this Queen of Swords. Like, I don't know if there's not an attachment here. So it might, again, like it might come with some element of difficulty, but it's for the best. So the Flames of the Hearth, it basically what, like negated unlucky cards, neutralizes the evil of near lying unlucky cards, and increases the value of lucky ones, right? So it's almost like it neutralizes the dire misfortune and enhances what is this key? The augury of success. So this almost feels a little more external because that's somebody looking at you, us. Do I use the Tarot of the Abyss or the Legends? I use the Legends. I'm like kind of leaning more towards the Tarot of the Abyss, but I'm going to go with the Legends because I like being difficult, I guess. This feels like so not, I want to say it feels like an internal choice because there's something about this 7 of Pentacles, 7 of Diamonds, Flames of the Hearth, number 11, this 38. That feels like I don't know. It feels internal to me. Like whatever this misfortune is, whatever this thing is, it's like it's gonna happen. But it's a matter of perspective or something like that. Like the card that literally came out after that 11 is the Joker, is the wild card. So maybe this is some kind of like habit breaking, pattern breaking, something. Let's see, what are we clarifying? I want to clarify. Let's see what's on the dark side of these clouds first. Not that we necessarily need to, but thank you, Lisa. Best to you as well. Excuse me. I think it is this Joker. So this, the flames of the hearth. So it's reading like there's someone that becomes luminous. There's someone that gives off a light. That light is what chases out the darkness in the clouds. That light is also what whoever's in this Queen of Swords sees. They see that light. And then that light would also be the key to averting. No, because the light itself chasing out the darkened clouds is the avoidance of that dire misfortune. Right. So instead of clarifying that, do I need to clarify anything? Let's see. You can kind of, yeah, you can see the yellow of illumination in this card. That's what Eros is in. You see the yellow of illumination in that card. You also see the yellow of illumination in the key. And you see the yellow of illumination in this. Oops. Okay. No. Like 10 cards just slid off the top of this. I mean, like, I knocked them over. You also see the yellow of illumination and the part, like, where the clouds are being, like, where it's lightening up, where it's getting lighter. That yellow of illumination is there. This is interesting. Okay. So let's just get one overall because I don't know where to throw this card particularly. And there is a certain like world card, Six of Wands energy here because this is giving like very laurel wreath vibes. The laurel wreath is like on the world in the Six of Wands. It's also Apollo. And if we're talking about light and illumination, Apollo draws the chariot that takes the sun across the sky. But that happened recently. Because I remember like one of them, it was Baldur and Apollo, because those are the things I saw at work. And it was like Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron became really, really, really good at healing because he got wounded. And it was, there was someone else who got prophecy or who was gifted prophecy. I don't remember who. Maybe it was like Odin going to the well. But it was like Apollo like is born with prophecy. Apollo was born with an ability to heal. There wasn't something that Apollo had to endure or suffer from to get those gifts. It's natural and innate within him. Now, ultimately, because life happens and we all have paths and journeys, it kind of doesn't matter if it's inborn or if it's found along the way, right? It doesn't matter if you're born naturally just with like a knack for playing the piano, or if you take piano lessons and you get good at playing piano, right? Ultimately, one doesn't necessarily matter over the other. And it's making me think about astrological aspects. Because you can be born with a trine, but because it's a trine, you like don't exert any effort into honing that gift or developing it. And so maybe it's like at some point it doesn't get retained or you lose it. Or it's like since you don't have to invest in like refining it because you can get by with what you have naturally, there's something that's either not appreciated or that something about it that remains underdeveloped because it was born because you were born with it like overdeveloped. And so maybe it's just like adequately developed by the end of it. You know what I mean? Like whatever lead or advantage one would have with that trine, you live enough life and it basically balances out. It's very much like it's almost giving that I was in Matthew muggling it there today. I muggled hardcore today. I muggled for hours. And it's funny because I don't know. That's something else that's come up. My muggle life and my specifically YouTube / spiritual in general life. And my spiritual life is ever pervasive. I'm never not connected or whatever. But in the muggle world, there's this is different. And I like my muggle life. How are you doing? I forgot what I was saying. Oh, with the trine. But with the more difficult aspect, like let's say a square. Let's not go full blown opposition. With the more difficult aspect, like a square, that's something that like becomes honed and developed. That's something where like effort and energy is exerted and something is returned in turn for that. Oh, I was gonna say it's giving very much the energy of like the person who's like, oh, like I was on the honor roll when I was in going through K through 12, or like I was always so smart back when I was a kid and I don't know what happened. Now I feel like I don't know anything or whatever. It's like I used to think I was special because I was smart, but now that I'm an adult, like none of that matters. It's almost that kind of energy. But with the more difficult aspect with the square or the opposition, it's almost like because something is given, something will be received. And it's almost like through the course of life, there's going to come a point where the one who overcame the square or the one who overcame the opposition is going to be better suited for that energy than the one who had the trine or the one that had the sextile. Sextile is a little closer to the square territory because you still got to work at it. You know what I mean? It's like there's a, like, that's where you get talent plus work rather than just like talent. Um, and I don't know what that necessarily means here, but obsessed with Elden Ring. Oof. Oof. Elden Ring. I got that. I don't know what I thought that game was. I got that game because of my little brother. It's just stressful. It stresses me out. Like, if you die, you lose everything. And I die a lot. Like, I'm not great with games like that. And then when stuff comes out of nowhere, I'd be like afraid to go anywhere because something just might pop up and kill me, and then you gotta start all over. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. It sounds like you're enjoying it. I only say that because I don't know. It's something about going for the easy aspect. That's just there. All right. A card for this overall. Just like one or two, please. I feel like I gotta put, okay, the fire, the hearth. The hearth. Actually, I'm gonna give this two more. And then I'll cut it. The top of the deck is gonna be the hearth. The bottom is gonna be the flame. So the hearth is the Emperor. The flame is the Knight of Swords. Oof. It's meditative. 2 inches forward, back to the fire. To spin points 3 inches forward, back to the fire. Oh, yeah. That's pretty much how I played it. I guess I shouldn't have expected anything different from this because of, not only because of the nature of this illumination, but because of the response to it. So the Emperor is, oh, look, he's even looking herbaceous, looking very woody. You got to set the Emperor on fire. So this is the hearth, the Emperor. The fire is literally like, it feels like it comes from the dragon. The Knight of Swords is the fire. What that immediately makes me think of is when I got the deck of many things and the deck of many fates. The thing about the scorpion and the vizier and the dragon, and then that knight that was carrying the sword. About dragon's breath. That's like literally this. There's almost distinctness over Lagu energy here. Distinctness and testing over Lagu in that energy mantle way. Because I'm tempted to say that the dragon's breath actually comes from her. Maybe that's the gift that she receives from the dragon in this space. Like, that's where the fire comes from. And I guess in a certain type of way, the Emperor can represent old systems. No multi-dimensional spoilers? See, I wasn't going to say it. I was just going to leave it ambiguous. But that's what it feels like to me. If you were listening to this and it didn't resonate for you in that way, maybe that's not the case for you. Because it's not necessarily going to be the same for everybody. Right? Especially if like let's say that like your body isn't compatible with dragon fire, then probably let the dragon take care of it, right? Like if you're gonna breathe dragon fire and then just roast your insides, cook yourself from the inside out, probably let the dragon take care of it, right? Is there another? Let's. Oh. Ooh. So the Hermit comes out in reverse, face down. The Hermit comes out face down and in reverse. And then the Five of Wands came out upright. Just kidding. That's the Five of Swords. LOL. Of course, right? I'm looking at this giant sword and I'm like, hold up. Five of Swords upright. The Hermit in reverse. I don't think this fairy lady is going to breathe fire. And she might. What do I know? But I'm actually going to read the blurb on these. Let's see. So the Five of Swords says, ooh, gotta get my bifocals on. In the fullness of time, we will learn too late that we are all connected, and that we are the world, and that we have done. Hold on, wait. These are kind of tiny, so it's a little difficult to read. In the fullness of time, we will learn too late that we are all connected, and that we are the world, and what we have done to it, we have done to ourselves. In the normal position, this is conquest, defeat, degradation, revocation, infamy, adversaries. And we had that. The foe. The Hermit. Where's our Hermit? Her self imposed solitude enables her to channel her mind to seeking all knowledge, both of this world and that of the inner self. Find her if you can, and she will impart her wisdom and help guide you to the truth. I think it's almost just like confirmation for that. Like, if your body isn't compatible with dragon's breath, don't breathe it. Like, don't exhale it because you'll literally roast yourself from the inside. And with the Hermit in reverse and this Five of Swords, it's almost like that can be the case where we try to go inside to find something that doesn't exist for us. There is a certain element of futility in that. There can be a certain element of futility in that, which can lead to a lot of frustration. But that's what happens when we try to sort of like put ourselves in a place or in a position that's not necessarily ours. You know what I mean? So I want just one example of a different metaphor. One example of something that's not the Knight of Swords igniting the Emperor. Because no one path exists for everyone. I believe. I don't think there's one path that exists for everyone. There could be. Maybe there is one for everybody but me. I'm fine with that. Okay. So the top of the deck and the bottom. Lots of wands. So judgment is the card that came out. I feel like, again, it's almost just like clarifying that point. Because in Judgment, she's holding the sword, she's holding the blade with her bare hands. Like, to use that to do nearly anything, she's going to cut her own hands. The Seven of Wands and the Five of Wands are the cards that came out. I do like we're still getting a fire energy. I mean, literally in the Suit of Wands. The Seven of Wands and the Five of Wands is the 12 of Wands. The 12 of Wands is the, not the Knight, but the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man of Fire. See, I feel like this isn't telling me, maybe it's just me and the way I'm reading these cards, but I feel like this isn't telling me anything but what it already told me. Because the Hanged Man of Fire with Judgment, it feels like it's just, again, it feels like there's something within the self that remains inactivated, that remains offline, that remains out of reach because we're constantly looking or seeking in a different direction. Cutting our own hands on a blade, trying to do what we see other people do, or what we've like heard from somebody else to do. What I do like about the Seven of Wands versus the Five of Wands, though, both the Seven and the Five of Wands involves a certain energy of conflict. But with the Seven of Wands, you're at, like, you have the high ground. You're in a position of advantage rather than being sort of like right in the middle of it with the Five of Wands. So, to help me out even more, because I don't think this tarot deck is going to give me a clean answer. I don't think I can get a clean answer if I really think about it. I mean, I did ask for like just one way. What is just one way? Because I feel like it would defeat the point. It would defeat the message. It would defeat the purpose of the message if I sit here and try to tell you when it's literally saying, like, disregard what works for everybody else. Don't listen to what anyone else says in this specific instance, and feel around within yourself with unclouded eyes. But it's like not immediately going for that one thing because everyone else is going for it. You know what I mean? And so it's like I got confirmed twice. Don't listen to anybody else. And I'm like, okay, well, like, what can I say so that they listen to me? Like, show me. I think the answer was also right here. Right? It's here. I was like, I don't think the fairy can breathe dragon fire. The fairy doesn't breathe dragon fire. The fairy has whatever compatible fairy magic there is. And then the Five of Swords is in reverse. What does the Five of Swords in reverse feel like, though? Well, with this Five of Swords in reverse, it's actually upright, meaning it can be used. Why does it feel almost it feels magical, but in like a mental spoken way, almost, if that makes any sense. Like the sword is involved in some way. It reminds me of that same reading with Baldur and Apollo, where it was, I think it was in Odin and the Yggdrasil Norse divination cards when they said that like poetry is basically magic, wordsmithing, stringing words together as a form of magic, and it makes me think of this. But I would say it's more than just the words because it makes me think of that one episode of Charmed where it was like Halloween and Phoebe was taking a class and these girls were like writing a spell to make to create boyfriends or whatever. And it didn't do anything when they did it, but Phoebe was like, oh, like you switch up the rhyme, you move these words around and you say it in this way and then it'll give it power. And they recorded her voice. I don't know if they recorded her voice or if she recorded her voice, but they played the recording of her voice, and when they played the recording of her voice, then the magic worked. So it's about more than just like words. I think it's more than just the order of words. It feels like it's more than just the cadence of the words. But that comes out every now and then. It's like, well, what is the voice box connected to? Or like, is the voice box connected? Is there any like power behind it to make it so? To overwrite? Or do they fall deaf? Or do they fall upon the deaf ear of the universe? And with that being here, now there's something about this judgment card that has an energy. It's almost one of conviction. It's almost something along the lines of conviction. Because if the sword is the word, it's almost like she has to be willing to be cut by her word in order for it to mean anything. Like if you're just gonna take it back or pretend like it doesn't happen, then what's the point? Like what is choice without consequence? And then this five of wands and the seven of wands, it's like with the power of that word, it doesn't read it doesn't read like it completely diffuses a situation, but it'll take you out of the conflict, or at least it'll take you out of the center of it, and it'll give you like a different vantage point. And maybe from that different vantage point with the seven of wands, there's something else, like a different path or a different way, excuse me, maybe some kind of resolution to that conflict that you'll see with that higher perspective. The seven of wands, especially in the witch's tarot, is my pre-strength, no, minor, sorry, it's my minor strength card. And then the knight of wands is pre-strength. And then we end up, well, yeah, it's wands, so it's already in the fire. That's interesting. So one is almost like a spell fire, like you say some incantation and then a little ball of fire pops up, and the other one is dragon's breath. It almost feels though like it almost feels like, depending on how it's used from the outside, it could look the same, but it's from like two completely different sources, and those different sources are hardwired to the body and to react and respond to the body in different ways, and they're like integrated with the body in different ways. Like dragon's breath is stored within the body, but through a spell it's almost like word becomes flame. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't, girl. I just ran with it, apparently. But no multidimensional spoilers. I feel like I could do that, yeah, because you still have to discover it for yourself. You know what I mean? I think there's also a difference between Emperor and Hermit energies. Like the Emperor is the one who's more. It feels like Emperor is more. I want to say focal, involved. Emperor energy is more involved in the situation. Hermit energy is more separate from it, or external, outside, peripheral. Hermit energy is a little bit more peripheral because it includes stuff like isolation. You know what I mean? Whereas like the Emperor is like all up in me. I think that's another reason why with that judgment it moves it from the 5 of Wands to the 7. It removes it and gives it a higher vantage point. And every situation requires all kinds of different people. And maybe there are some situations where you will dragon's breath, and maybe there are other situations where you just give a word. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily always going to be the same. So this is what I got, I guess. Is this right time, right place? I guess that's the interesting thing about right time, right place, though. Because you can be in the right time, or you can be in the right place at the right time, but then it's like, what do you do? Right? It's like, oh, I was in the right place at the right time, but nothing happened. And it's like, well, did you go and knock on the door? And you're like, no, I just thought I'd like be here, and then things just happen. And it's like, okay, well, like, were you visible? Were you seen? Or were you like hiding in a dumpster somewhere in the general vicinity? I don't know why a dumpster. Behind a bush. Okay. Um, I don't know, but there is something very, very interesting about this wild card. Because it feels like everything has the potential to change. And again, it feels like such an unfavorable situation. Or like it would seem like such an unfavorable situation. It would seem like misfortune and disappointment are all that awaits, but something in that situation will respond to the luminous one, the luminosity of self. Maybe it's authenticity, right? Maybe it's a little bit of the fool. Pick your major. Actually, I'm going to shuffle this. If you don't give me a major in 3 shuffles, I'm just going to pick the first one I see. I'll do the first one from the top of the deck and then the first one from the bottom. I'm going to cut it. Oops. Okay. There we go. We cut it right there. Boom. The lovers right at the top of the deck. That's one of them. What's the other one? Nope. Nope. Oh, okay. Wheel of Fortune. Oh, well. We've just seen that not every major in this deck involves dragons because of the fairy. Um, but again, I feel like this is just like this feels like she's becoming one with the dragon. She can breathe dragon fire. She's riding the dragon. She directs it, right? She lets the dragon breathe the fire. I don't even remember what I asked for. Element of surprise and all that. Well, you never know who'll find you in a dumpster. Because sometimes either you'll go and like hop in the dumpster and then you'll find somebody else, or you'll be in the dumpster and then somebody else will have the same idea and they'll hop in the dumpster And then like conversation turns into opportunity, turns into all kinds of stuff. Or you end up at the local dump and you decide I don't know, maybe you like it. I went to the dump here before. It was an experience. They tried to put me on the garbage truck. Woo! They're like, Adam's not here, so Patrick, you're on the garbage truck today. I was like, no. But then Adam showed up, so I didn't have to do it. Oh, goodness. I was so scared. I was legitimately scared. I really didn't want to do it. That was years ago. That was 2014. Because 2015, I was on campus. I'm getting warm. Dipping into arcana for dragon spells. You didn't hear it from me. If that is your path, if that resonates for you, go for it. If not, you should have known better. You should have used your discernment. You should have been wiser. You got to separate the I want this to be for me and I want this to be true from the this is true for me. This is true. You know what I mean? And that's my, what do you call it? What is that statement? Where it's like warning, may call da 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 da. That's my that. Because, I try to keep my energetic space clear of any upset guides or ancestors or whatever. Have your people work on their discernment. I'm just playing. Kind of. What is it? What's that? There's a name for that statement. Disclaimer. That's what it is. Thank you. Disclaimer. That's just my disclaimer. I was like, I feel like it starts with a C. Yep, the disclaimer. Okay. Legends Tarot. Final. Ooh, there we go. Thank you. I was beginning to think you wouldn't speak to me. Ooh. The Four of Pentacles with the Knave of Swords at the bottom of the deck. The Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles, especially in the SKT, has been coming out lately, especially in a lot of like the self in the absence of internal conflict. And then in the Revelations edition, there were the painted figures on the ceiling watching the Four of Pentacles. And now we see like this dragon watching that girl. I don't even know if she notices. I don't think she does. It depends on how good her peripheral vision is. But look how close, like her hand is literally on this dragon. Dragon is like literally about to lick her in the face. And it feels like she doesn't even necessarily notice it. That's how close something is to approaching. That's how palpable the energy would be. And it feels like it's because of this Four of Pentacles again. And I said there was like a stankness over the goo energy. This is a card of approval. And since it's the Knave of Swords, since it's the Page of Swords, it's just the beginning. But since it's not the Ace, it's like something to be interacted with. Right? Because if it were just the Ace of Swords, and it's like, it's a breakthrough, it's a revelation, it's this download or whatever. And that's like basically it. With it being a court card, it's like it's to be used, it's to be utilized, it's to be interacted with. The sword is in the hand, or the dragon is in the hand. But I'll read the Four of Pentacles and I'll see what this has to say about it. Just because I'm curious more than anything. Should I try to pick a different language and struggle through that? The Four of Pentacles. I gather all I need around me and keep it close, for it is mine. And you dare to stand before me with a claim? You shall need a smooth tongue to convince me that is the case. Ooh, okay. Maybe this is also a warning. More than a warning, I feel like it's about intention. It's about your intentions as you seek whatever you seek to be able to have the ability to influence, create, make changes to your reality, right? I'm not going to speak to whatever intentions that you need to have as you approach that energy because it's your path. And we all make choices and we all make decisions, and somebody got to be the something in everybody's story. Somebody is going to be the something in everybody's story. You don't even necessarily have to try all the time, but they say it takes all kinds of people to make the world go round. So it's just got to be, I guess, compatible with who or what you're working with and the path that is yours. But yeah, it feels like it's about intention. But again, with that stankness energy, that's already there, right? Stankness is the rune of testing. Offerligu, again, it's the rune associated with the energy mantle. Is there Ool? I guess that'd be the Ool rune for me personally. Is there an Ool energy there? I feel like this leads to Ool. Like Ool would be a result of this. Because Ool is in the clouds, kind of. Ool is kind of in the clouds. So. All right. Fortune playing cards. Hit me. Give it to me. Ooh. Oh. Nine of Spades. Eight of Clubs. Eight of Spades. Roses. Again. So somebody's getting their flowers. Roses indicate beauty and rugged health. The snake indicates enmity and calamities, the degree of which is governed by the distance of the card from the person. And then the mountains nearby indicate the presence of a mighty enemy. So we got enmity and calamities and a mighty enemy. And then the tree is there again. What numbers are these? 13 and 32. It feels like that's playing off of intention. It's basically reading like it can be easy to get burned. It's like it's not easy to get burned if you have the right intentions and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And a good, again, intention is whatever is for you to align with. I'm not going to necessarily force good intentions on anybody, although I would hope that we all have the best of intentions for ourselves and for each other. I also understand that there are some people who are just in a more competitive mindset, I guess. Or there are some situations that test the competitive versus cooperative dynamic within certain individuals. And I'm sure we all have our tests somewhere, right? But it's like it is reading like, yeah, you can get burned by a mighty enemy. If this is a mighty enemy, I would say calamity is definitely possible, especially if we're talking about dragons, right? Like a dragon isn't like touching a hot stove for like 0.005 seconds where it's just like, you know. So What is this? Nine of Swords, Eight of Wands, Eight of Swords. See, Eight of Wands and Eight of Swords together, those two energies just feel like they shouldn't necessarily go together. Because it's going somewhere really, really, really fast and having no idea where you're going. And it's like you could smack into a tree, you can go careening off the side of a cliff, into the heart of a volcano. I mean, at the same time, you can also end up in a place that's gorgeous, but with these cards, that's why I said with these cards in particular, they're a little rough. I get it now. I understand now what dude was talking about, and I didn't get it when I got these cards. So when I go back, I'm gonna have to say something. But it's a warning. And again, it's like if your intentions align, there's literally nothing for you to worry about. But there is something about this energy that it's like energy can't lie to energy. Because I was going to say there's something here about the motivations again. And that's a thing that came out. Was that Leo? Or was that Virgo season? No, Leo season was like knowing who we are and what we want. Virgo season was the one that was about like motivation and what drives us. What's the motive behind why we do what we do? Energy speaks to energy through the language of energy. So you can't hide motivations. You can't hide intentions. You can't cover stuff up like that, especially to something that has an energetic presence of that magnitude. Your energy precedes you. With other people, you can use words and stuff and even actions. With yourself, you can use words and stuff and actions. But with energy, with spirit, it's a different language altogether. Why is this like, why is the warning so, oh my gosh? I think for me, I can't recall a time where that's happened specifically. But for me, especially if you didn't know what that friend's intention was, I wouldn't hang on to the guilt. Because it's like, if I did something for a friend out of the kindness of my heart, believing that, like, I don't know, they would not do anything terrible, especially against another friend, like, that's what I would focus on. And then if you want to like apologize, you can be like, had I known, I wouldn't have helped, but like I had no clue. But again, it's like if you didn't know, you didn't know. I know that that can be a little like wordy and it might not necessarily help with the feelings, but I would choose to hold the feeling of I did what I thought was helpful, beneficial to my friend. I wanted to be there for my friend. And then they use the power of choice or they made a choice or decision to go and do something else. That I had no part of. That I didn't necessarily agree with. That I didn't know about. That is out of my control. And then I might go like, I want friends that like won't put me in situations like that. Excuse me. Yeah. And, for me, I don't know how long that process would be because I can sort of hang on to stuff like that sometimes. But I think eventually it would sink in. Where I am now, I think it would be a lot easier. Uh, but yeah, no problem. Hopefully it helps in some way. Let's go. Let's do it. Why not? I can't keep talking about dragons and not pull a dragon because I have the dragon oracle now. So we're just gonna get one dragon because everything is dragon, dragon, dragon. Maybe I'll do the same thing. I'm gonna shuffle this a few times. I'll cut it. The top of the deck will be the dragon that we embody or that embodies us. And then the second will be the dragon that we let, take care of it for us. Top dragon is the breath that we breathe. Bottom dragon is the dragon. So, all right, let's go with 3 more. Actually, we'll go with 4. Oh, well, never mind. Oof. Maybe I'll just pull this card out. Oh no. Oh no, I got 2 dragons. 2 dragons flipped over. I thought it was only 1. So the top dragon is going to be the breath that we breathe. The bottom dragon is the one that we let just take care of it. I'm still going to look at the top and the bottom. Okay. So the top is the earth and water dragon. The bottom is the silver dragon. I'm not going to take them. I was just curious. Oh, goodness. This actually resonates. This is actually resonant. So the top dragon, the breath that we breathe, if that's our path, it's the alpha dragon. Harness the divine masculine power of creation. Destroy the old, visualize your dream, help to manifest a new world. But that divine masculine power of creation, that was the emperor. And the emperor and the Knight of Swords. So that's breathing alpha dragon fire or letting the sunshine yellow dragon do it for us. Helps you to help animals, serve animals, heal, respect, and understand them. So with this card, it feels like that dragon will help turn natural forces in our favor. But like active natural elements or active natural forces, right? Because they're animals, they're not plants. Nothing wrong with plants, nothing particularly great about animals. It's just like most animals move. And so it's still another moving energy, just like this alpha dragon. But the emphasis is on harmonizing with the second. And I'll read the silver dragon just because maybe it'll give a little bit of clarity. Illuminate your potential with higher light. Access untapped resources. Look into your soul. See higher possibilities. Oh. Oh, look. Silver dragon is holding a flaming key. Look at it. There's that key. Um, it feels like Sunshine Yellow Dragon. It's almost like it'll attract you. Sunshine Yellow Dragon will bring you to people, places, or situations, events, nouns, um, where those energies will help you become luminous. And it feels like it's not purely that they'll teach you to be luminous, but it feels like something that'll like brighten you up. And as you grow, there's some, again, it's like some kind of harmonizing reciprocal energy in that because it's like they light you up, and as you glow brighter, you light them up, and then it's this like more like a binary star system, or a trinary star system, or a quaternary star system. I don't even know if those exist. Um, I know binary star systems do. Um, but yeah, that's what that feels like. So that's this. I don't know. It's time to shine. It's your time to shine. There you go. That's probably what I'm gonna title this right now, so I don't have to do it after this video is over. It's your time to shine. It's your time to shine. There we go. And we're coming up on a Pisces full moon in a few days. The moon looked pretty. I saw the moon when I left work today. It looked pretty big, and I think we've already had like our last super moon of this year, and it wasn't full, so maybe it'll get further when the moon is full. But it looked decently sized today, at least. Again, take what resonates as it resonates when it resonates. I take no blame, no fault for anybody taking something that don't resonate for them. If you want to be upset with somebody, be upset with you. Don't be upset with spirit because spirit ain't do it. Don't be upset with me because I ain't do it. Don't even really be upset with yourself because you didn't do it, obviously. Okay. I wish I could just like unsay that. It's fine. Ultimately, it's like, yes, there's a certain part that's about accountability. For sure. 100% about accountability. But also, it's about us giving ourselves grace. You know, it's a path, it's a journey, it's a process. We get where we're going and the time that we get there, and that time will always be the right time for us, right? So with that, I hope you all have an amazing whatever you see this. If you're not, I hope you have a better one soon. If you want to have a better one, if you want to have a worse one, I hope it's absolutely terrible. Whatever you want, I hope you get it. Intention to intention, energy to energy. I hope you get it. I would hope that you want better again, but far be it from me to tell you to want better for you. That's your choice. I don't want somebody to yell at me because they don't feel like having a good day. I mean, I wouldn't really care, but I want to respect the wishes of everyone. So if you want a good day, I hope you have an amazing day. If you want a terrible day, I hope you have the worst day. And I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. If your Elden Ring dragon spells don't work out, okay, yeah. I was completely honest. I was up front. When it comes to Elden Ring, I'm pretty garbage. I am pretty trash. So probably go look for somebody who can give you better advice. My brother, like, he beat it. See, I was playing with him and another one of his friends, and we were like progressing our way through the game, but then I started having connection issues. And it was like, oh no, you can't rely on somebody else to beat this for you. You got to do this on your own. And I was like, fine, I just won't play the game then. So that's why I stopped playing the game, because my little brother wouldn't beat it for me. Maybe I should revisit it though. Maybe I should try again. I've matured as a gamer since then. All right, good night.